Hello everyone and welcome back to the next episode of UAE Corporate Tax podcast series. In the previous episodes we were discussing the TP regulations in the UAE and we have already discussed Article 34 that relates to the arm's length principle, Article 35 that relates to the definition of related parties and controls, and in the previous episode we discussed Article 36 that talks about transactions with connected persons and the consequences if the transaction is not at arm's length price. In this episode, we will be discussing the last article of the TP regulations, that is Article 55, that relates to the TP documentation. So, as per Article 55, essentially the taxpayer has to make two compliances for transfer pricing. First one is the year-end annual compliance that has to be made with the tax return or the return of income that the taxpayer will be filing. So this disclosure form would contain the details of the transactions and the arrangements that has been made during the year with the related parties and connected persons. Second is the master file and local file that has to be maintained by a taxpayer which crosses a certain threshold that will be decided by the minister later with a clarification that is awaited. Right. So the TP documentation has to be submitted to the FTA on request within a period of 30 days from the day on which the request is made. If the FTA would require any information or documentation to support your arm's length calculation, then FTA will send you a notice to ask for the documentation and the information, and the same has to be submitted again within a period of 30 days from the date of request that has been made. So if you compare these regulations with the Indian regulations, so the disclosure form, the close correlation could be with Form 3 CEB that we have in India, and the threshold for local file that we have in India is 1 crore rupees of international transactions. So we are expecting certain similar thresholds and certain disclosure forms that are same like India in the UAE as well. So stay tuned and let's look forward to this space and keep tuning in for the UAE Corporate Tax Insights.